If you look at the legal industry, we've gone through 4 eras. So the first era was really pre-internet. We basically had a much simpler world in some ways where you could fit all of the information you needed into a briefcase. We actually called it the briefcase era. Practicing law was relatively simple. The law firm industry wasn't massive. For the most part, lawyers spent time on high-value activities, given that there wasn't that much data or information to analyze. So a very high percentage of it was actually on applying legal judgment, analysis, creativity, all the things that make us human. We then had the internet and what we call the blank check era, where companies suddenly had 10x, 100x the amount of data, and it shifted from paper to electronic. We're all now drowning in data, and to even find the right email to analyze takes a lot of time. So as a result, the number of hours required to accomplish the same task goes up dramatically. The biggest beneficiary of this era were traditional law firms. Law firms suddenly became a $300 billion, $400 billion industry over this time period, and they weren't exactly turning down the work, even if 9 out of 10 hours were actually doing things that weren't giving legal advice. We then had this third era where, especially after the financial crisis in 2008, companies just couldn't afford to keep writing a blank check to an industry that was very happy to profit off of this new situation. There was a real concerted effort by a lot of chief legal officers and general counsels to rein in the spending, and CFOs, frankly, as well. You had the rise of legal operations, you had ALSPs, alternative legal service providers, come on the scene. That eventually became a $10 billion industry, still small compared to the $400 billion law firm industry in the US. But nonetheless, there's at least an attempt by the world's most important organizations who are spending the most on this problem to rein in the spending and apply some kind of process and technology to the problem. However, in many ways, that third era, the software era, really kind of fell short. While the software definitely added a lot of value, at the end of the day, it represents about 2 to 5% of the general counsel's budget. For the most part, most lawyers actively avoid using software or are generally quite disappointed by what it actually looks like in practice for a variety of reasons. And you really had this fundamental adoption problem, and if you don't adopt technology, then you can put all the AI in the world on top of it. It's still not gonna solve that problem. That's really kind of what's given rise to this fourth era that we like to call the Augmented Intelligence era. And really that's where, as a company, we see a great opportunity to, unlike software where the goal is to automate everything you possibly can, with Augmented Intelligence, it's not about eliminating humans, it's actually about putting humans back at the center of this profession and really allowing those expert humans to apply their judgment, their creativity, enable them to achieve something closer to infinite potential.